My leadership lessons from meeting a spiritual icon, that he is his messages rather than he simply had a message to deliver. He has taken a stand for love in the world rather than standing for condemnation, revenge and retribution. Another pivotal leadership experience for me came on January the 31st, 2014, when I got to spend an evening in the company of Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu at the Haymarket Hotel in London. Okay, it wasn't just me, there was 100 of us, but I still felt immensely privileged. I was even invited to sit with him for a few moments. What do you say to a spiritual icon? I thanked him for his work and for being who he was, and he greatly received my appreciation of him. On reflection though, I wish I'd actually told him a good joke. When the Arch, as he liked to be called, stood up to speak to us all in full clerical garb, he spent the first 5 minutes or so of his talk telling us jokes and making us laugh. I thought maybe he'd actually missed his true calling and that he should have actually been a stand-up comedian rather than a minister. He then spent another 10 or 15 minutes delivering his messages to us and then finished off by making us laugh again with another 5 minutes of jokes. At that point he was in his early 80s, but he was so full of life and energy, at least for the time he spent in our company. But what occurred to me was he wasn't just a speaker, he was an orator, which to me, in my mind, means that he is his messages rather than he simply had a message to deliver. I was inspired by his humour, his graciousness and his genuine positivity, which had been born out of considerable personal suffering and from witnessing so much suffering. He had experienced so much prejudice, hatred and evil in his own life, his country and around the world, and yet he had come out speaking and teaching about how wonderful human beings are. I'm a student of a spiritual text called A Course in Miracles, a work that has deeply influenced my own spiritual path. And one of my favourite lines in the course is, "The holiest spot on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love." To me, the Arch personified that hope of transformation, moving from fear and pain and hatred into understanding and ultimately into love. He has taken a stand for love in the world rather than standing for condemnation, revenge and retribution. He inspires people to change rather than tries to force people to change through judgment. His light helped kindle my own. His stand for a higher purpose leadership and love in the world continues to fuel my own desire to stand up for love too. Another piece of the jigsaw fell into place a couple of months after I heard him speak. He published a book with his daughter Mpho called The Book of Forgiving, and I realised that's why he is able to be who he is and do what he does. He actively practices and teaches forgiveness. The Arch is a living example of the power of forgiveness that is available to all of us. The message of his leadership was all about how we can all be an instrument for love and forgiveness to exist in the world.